What's up guys, Tamrashan here. If you're looking to buy an aggressive and sporty looking scooter, well even though there are a good amount of options in the BS6 lineup, two which will top the list is the Honda Dio BS-6 and the Yamaha RayZR BS-6. But from the two, which one should you buy? Well, this video is all about that. For this comparison, we're going to consider a classic 5 factors which are the design and build quality, specifications, ride quality and comfort, mileage and price. And let's start things off with the design and build quality. Now for design, well it actually depends upon individuals because everyone's preference is not the same. And here, even though these two scooters fall in the sporty segment, they have different styling. From the front, the Dio gets a more sharper look with angular cutting and the main headlight is on the front panel, and on the handle there is the position light which is by the way LED. And with the RayZR, well the front panel has more of a simpler look with not so sharp cutting, and here also the main headlight is on the front panel and the handle houses the position light which is again LED. Now here with the RayZR, there is also a sporty smoked visor in the handle which does add a bit more attitude, and this position light kinda completes it. So here, even though the front panel doesn't show aggression, the handle design does compensate for it. Well, with the Dio, the position light looks sharp and actually it's now like a trademark for the Dio. Now we didn't talk about the headlight because here with the Dio, there are two versions available, which is the standard and deluxe, and the headlight changes based on the model. If we go for the standard variant, the headlight is a halogen bulb, and with the deluxe variant, we get a LED headlight. And for the RayZR also, there is two models available, which is called drum and disc, but here no matter which variant we go for, the headlight is halogen. And about the range and coverage, well the best one is the deluxe version of the Dio. The LED headlight does show its dominance, and here even through pitch dark, the LED headlight in the deluxe version of the Dio will illuminate pretty neatly. But that doesn't mean the halogen bulb in the RayZR is bad. And in fact it's pretty good, and surely with that also night rides are not an issue, and similarly Dio's standard version's headlight also does its job. But from a comparison perspective, the Dio's deluxe version is the better one, with RayZR's both the versions and Dio's standard version taking the second spot. Now turning a concentration to the other side of the handle, well here firstly with the RayZR, it's the typical scooter handle with all the necessary switch controls. On the left there is the dim bar bright switch, indicator toggle and horn, and on the right side there is the start stop system switch and the self start switch. Now this start stop switch is similar to the ideal start stop switch in the Activa 125 BS6, and what it does is that when you stop in traffic or take a brief halt, it automatically cuts the engine off, and on twisting the accelerator the engine turns on again. This is a very handy feature, and the best part is that it's available in both the versions of the RayZR. And now checking the Dio's handle, it's also the typical scooter one with different switch controls. Here with the Dio, we do miss out the ideal start stop feature, but actually just for switch controls, the Dio does have better ones. On the left there is the dim bright and pass light switch, indicator toggle and horn, and on the right there is the self start and engine kill switch as a single integrated one. This is better than just the self start, but not as good as the ideal start stop feature. And because of that, the RayZR does have that advantage over the Dio. And now checking the instrument console, here the RayZR and Dio has similarities. And it is based on models, the instrument console changes. With the Dio standard version and the RayZR's drum variant, we get a simple analog meter which just shows the basic stuff. And with the Dio's deluxe variant and the RayZR's disc variant, the meter console is a fully digital one. And yet they do show plenty of needed information with extra ones like distance to empty, real-time mileage, and average mileage being shown only in the Dio's instrument cluster. Then checking the footboard, well here the Dio's footboard is the slightly larger one, and here the Dio also gets a front pocket which is missing with the RayZR, and also for the hooks available, Dio gets both a front and rear hook which are both non-retractable, while the RayZR just has a front hook which is retractable. So this area is dominated by the Dio, but the RayZR does hit back with side stand engine cutoff feature that is available in both versions of the RayZR, while for the Dio it's only available as an optional feature. And now checking the side panel, well here both the scooters get a fiber panel, and that's the case throughout except for the front fender which is metal, and here the panel quality is pretty good with both the scooters. Here one thing to highlight is that this new RayZR's body has much improved in quality compared to the previous RayZR, but while comparing this with the new Dio, the body of the Dio feels slightly more sturdy. And here the side panel of the RayZR is on the smaller side with the unique graphics which does suit well for the scooter, and I do like this graphics. And about the Dio, the side panel is a larger one than the one in the RayZR, and here some of the color options doesn't have a graphics but gets a cleaner look with the 3D chrome branding, and for the ones with the graphics, I love it. It's a very sleek graphics and it does stand out. Now you might have noticed one thing with both these scooters, and that's the dual tone paint scheme. Well, it actually depends on the model we get, and for the Dio with the standard version there are 4 color options available, and for the deluxe version you get to choose from 3. And for the RayZR, your also color options vary based on the variant, and in the drum variant there are just 2 color options available, and with the disc variant you get to choose from 5 color options. Then moving to the rear section, well the RayZR's taillight is nice, and there is a black colored single unit pillion grab bar which is a comfortable one for the pillion, and while checking the Dio, the taillight does have that classic Dio taillight design which has this chisel look, and for the grab bar it's more of a sporty split type one which is comfortable for the pillion, but from the two, the one in the RayZR gives the better hold. Now in the Dio, there is one more thing in the rear section, and that's this external fuel cap. This is a very convenient feature, and unfortunately RayZR does miss out on that, and with the Dio it's available in both the variants. Now to open it, you need to choose the seat fuel option in the new ignition port and then press the fuel option in the switch. And it opens instantly, and you're greeted with this twist cap which is covering a 5.3 liter tank. Now the RayZR's fuel tank inlet can be accessed by opening the seat, and here its tank capacity is 5.2 liters. Now since we have opened the seat, let's check the underseat storage, and here the bigger one is the one in the RayZR, but it doesn't mean that big is always better. Well, for sure you can stuff in more personal belongings in the underseat space of the RayZR, but unfortunately it doesn't take in my large sized fully covered helmet. While on the other hand, even though the underseat storage of the Dio is a smaller one, it does fit in my helmet. And by the way, the Dio at the moment doesn't have a USB charging socket option, which is available in the RayZR. Then finally with the exhaust, well here without any doubt, the one I like better is the one in the Dio. Well, that's all for the design and build quality, and here I feel both the scooters are aggressive looking ones with their own pros and cons. And in this factor, you can easily pick the one that suits you based on your design preference and also based on the features you want. And actually that's the same thing with the second factor too. It's the specifications, and I like to term this factor as a reference guide. And here let's start things off with the engine spec, and as you can see, the Dio's engine is 109.51cc in capacity, while the RayZR has a 125cc engine. Now both are of BS-6 standard and they are fuel injection engines. Well, even though there is good engine capacity difference, the max power and torque are not very different. Then for the body dimensions, well, other than being more wider, the Dio is the slightly smaller one in every other aspect. But for the curb weight, well, the Dio is the heavier one weighing 105 kilograms compared to just 99 kilograms for the RayZR. And now for the tire dimensions, the RayZR has the upper hand, especially with the rear tire. Now please do note, both the scooters get a 12-inch front wheel and a 10-inch rear one. And for the brakes, well, with the Dio, no matter which version you buy, both the front and rear will be a drum brake, and you'll also get CBS or combi braking system in both the versions. And with the RayZR, it's a spec that is well thought out, because if you go for the drum variant, both the front and rear is going to be equipped with drum brake, and if you go for the disc version, the front will be 190mm disc and the rear will be drum. And by the way, both the versions get UBS or Unified Braking System as standard. Now CBS and UBS, they both do the same job, and it is when you apply the rear brake, both the front and rear brake is applied together to help in better stopping. And for the suspensions used, well, with the Dio, the front is telescopic and the rear is a 3-step adjustable spring-loaded hydraulic one. And with the RayZR, the front is telescopic fork and the rear is a unit swing one. So that's all for the specifications, and when you keep it side by side, it might seem like one of the scooters pretty much leading in most of the things, but let's not make any conclusions, because what matters is when you hit the road, and that's why we have a third factor, which is the ride quality and comfort. We'll start things with the RayZR, and here Yamaha has fitted smart motor generator which brings silent start, which is now becoming common, but still it's impressive. And here when you hit the road, this engine is a powerful one, and since the scooter is on the lighter side, there is good amount of aggression. This is a top contender for other scooters with good performance, and here the best thing is that the ride was very stable and disturbance free for a speed range from 0 to 80 km/h. The acceleration is punchier in the 30 to 60 mark, and that does help a lot for city overtakes. And overall for the performance and ride quality, it's really good with the RayZR, and it does stand well with the spec on paper. But how does Dio stack up to the RayZR? Now the spec sheet does show healthy difference, but on road the story is different. The Dio also gets silent start feature, which like I said before is becoming common, but still like I said, it's an impressive feature. And here on hitting the road, that's where the Dio will surprise you. It's a 110cc engine, but still the performance is, to be frank, competing well with the RayZR. There is great aggression, and here the acceleration is abrupt. You can hit 0 to 60 with ease, and also for a speed range from 0 to 75 km/h, the ride quality is excellent. I was really surprised to see this performance, especially considering it's a 110cc engine. And here based on performance and ride quality, both the scooters are neck to neck. But ride comfort is also a very important thing, and in that there is differences. This new Dio, unlike its previous version, has really improved ride comfort. For me, the previous version of the Dio was not a comfortable scooter, but with this one, things have changed. The footboard's legroom is really good, and that combined with sufficiently long seat and healthy cushioning provides great seating comfort for the rider. And here since the suspensions have changed, especially the front one, even while riding through rough conditions or riding for extended period of time, there wasn't any discomfort. And also if you're wondering about the suspension stiffness, it's set on the softer side. And now with the RayZR, well, the footboard spacing is not as large as the one in the Dio, but the seat is larger than the one in the Dio. And this 2-level seat of the RayZR is an impressive one. The cushioning is spot on, and hence the rider will enjoy the seating. Now for me, the footboard spacing was fine with the RayZR, even though the better one was with the Dio. And for the suspensions used in the RayZR, well, they're a bit stiff set, but still this time also, even through rough patches or for extended period of riding, there wasn't any noticeable discomfort. And from the two based on ride comfort, which one is the better one will be a big question, and what I felt is that they both have their own strengths and weaknesses. RayZR does fall short with the footboard spacing and stiffer suspension, which is both done better in the Dio, but for the seat, the RayZR gets the upper hand. Now for me from the two, the Dio felt to be the slightly more comfortable one. And by the way, here for the pillion, both the scooters offer good comfort, but because of the slightly larger seat, the RayZR gets that advantage. Then for the ride control, well here both the scooters are easy to flick around once, but from the two, the better one is the Dio. But the RayZR does go back for that loss with better safety, and that's thanks to the larger tire and also better brake option in the disc variant. Here the version I got to test with the RayZR is actually the drum brake variant, and with the Dio I did test both the versions, but since both the versions get the same brake option, it doesn't matter. And here when we compare the drum brake variant of the RayZR with the Dio, well in that the braking performance is not very different. The safe braking speed is below 65 km/h, and I feel that's fine considering both are scooters, and I think with the disc version of the RayZR, you will surely notice that slightly improved braking performance. Now this factor, which is basically the ride experience, is always an interesting one, and here the best thing for us buyers is that both these scooters does offer great ride quality and comfort in their own ways, and here you can decide the one you want from this factor based on your priorities. Well, that doesn't mean it's time to finalize because we still have two more factors left, and hence let's move to check our fourth factor, which is the mileage. Firstly, with the Dio, the mileage we got during testing is approximately 58 km/h, and with the RayZR, the mileage we got was less at approximately 55 km/h. Now please do note, this is the mileage we got, and for you it might be different because like I always say, mileage totally depends on the way we ride, and also it depends on riding conditions. And now to the last factor, which is the price. The price shown here for all variants of both the scooters are ex-showroom pricing in Kerala, and as you can see, the Dio is the cheaper one. So with that I guess we have covered almost every aspect, and now it's time to decide. This comparison is tougher than what I initially thought because both are excellent offerings. There are sure differences, and I guess picking one totally depends on riders' priorities. For me, based on my usage, the one I'm gonna pick is the new Dio. Well, the reason I did that is because I do like the Dio's design, then its slightly bigger footboard is what I prefer, and the storage convenience is handy for me because my helmet fits in, then the performance is the right amount I need for daily commutes, and also the slightly improved mileage and lesser price tag is a plus. Now, if you're going to pick the RayZR, you're going to get the better seating comfort, slightly improved performance, extra features in which the idle start-stop and side stand engine cutoff are great offerings, and also if you want that added safety, then the disc brake variant provides that. Still, like I said, both are excellent offerings, so just choose one based on your priorities. And I would love to know which one you'll be choosing and the reason behind it. So please leave that in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe and to turn the notifications on so that you won't miss any of our future contents. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.